We are live.
Hey, it's a Feel Good Friday. That's the name of the show. I'm Paul Sullivan. Billy W. Merritt presents Feel Good Friday here every Friday morning, 11 a.m. Eastern Time, also 10 a.m. Central for my homies in Chicago, as you can see. Still wearing the Cubs gear, even though I'm pretty upset with my Chicago Cubs team. Pretty disappointed, as a matter of fact. We've lost a lot of games, and it's not even about being in first. I mean, of course, you love to win. As a matter of fact, I've got remember I said this a couple weeks ago, I've got my championship, my World Series championship. I'm going to stand up for this real quick. You can see it real quick. You can see all the people that were on the World Series team in 2016. I'm on the back. So I'm just going to spin around real quick. You can see it, right?
Yes, sir.
A lot of names. However, now granted, that was 5 years ago. So, things change, people move on. So there's probably, I don't know, there were 5 or 6 people that were still on the team. Well, today there are 4 or 5 people left on the team because the Cubs traded Anthony Rizzo, and I was not happy about it. Anthony Rizzo, he's a first baseman, or was. I got to get used to this. Got to get used to it. He was the first baseman for the Chicago Cubs. Just a great character guy. That was the thing. I mean, good players come and go, as far as athletes, and, you root for him and all kind of stuff, but he was just a solid character guy. He fought off cancer. I mean, so he was still doing lots of charity stuff. He won the Roberto Clemente Award a couple years back, meaning, just good civil servant, that type of thing. Always went to the cancer hospitals and visited kids, and just, like I said, just a solid character guy, and kind of I don't want to call him the face of the franchise, because there were several guys that were really big parts of that team that were still on the team. But Anthony Rizzo was certainly my favorite on the team. So I was, just ticked off. And to make, just pour salt in the wound, if you will, Smith, who's back in the background, our producer, who got up early today. He always gets up early on Friday. Yeah, he gets up early at 11 a.m. Eastern time.
Friday is the one day where my system is just like, you have to get up.
Every other day, he just rolls out of bed at like 3 in the afternoon. It's like, what? Oh, the sun.
My enemy.
But Anthony Rizzo, and I won't just harp on this. I just wanted to get it off my chest so we can move on and have a Feel Good Friday. But Anthony Rizzo, not only did they trade him, they traded him to the flipping Yankees, who I cannot stand. I hate the Yankees. I always have. So Anthony Rizzo, yeah, good luck in New York. And just, not very fun. But now we didn't have a show last week because I was actually up in Chicago, went to the Cubs game, saw Anthony Rizzo hit a home run. Thought I'd throw that in there. And I had a great time at the game. We went to Wrigley Field, of course, where the Cubs play. I took a whole bunch of my family and extended family to the game, and a couple of my great nieces, Mackenzie and Zoe. It was their first baseball game ever, which was all kinds of fun. And then my granddaughter, Layla, it was her first baseball game at Wrigley Field, because, of course, we've been to Braves Stadium. We went down to Miami, saw the Cubs play there a couple years ago, but it was her first time at Wrigley Field. So very fun. You can go to my Facebook page. I got lots of pictures on there, from the game. And something cool too, Smith. It's been over 20 years anyway. My sons, Matt and Jack, I took them to their first game over 20 years ago to Wrigley Field. And so then we revisited, that was the first time all three of, I've been there with Matt or with just Jack, separately, but never the three of us, all together. So pretty cool to go back up to Chicago and see the Cubs. And by the way, they won, one of the few games they've won in this, the month of July. They've been really bad. They've really been bad. And there's going to be more trading. We know Chris Bryant he's going to be traded. I know he is. He's a free agent, so he'll be traded. Probably Craig Kimball, the relief pitcher, he'll probably be traded. They already let Tapara go. So, they're cleaning house, basically. They're having the fire sale. So we'll have some new names wearing the Chicago Cubs uniform next season. And some of our old favorites will be playing for other players, for other teams. Also, while I was up in Chicago, the reason we didn't have a show, because I could have done a show, but my best friend Dusty Rhodes actually passed away. So his funeral was actually last weekend as well. So it's just kind of a weird, just a weird roller coaster of emotions. You ever have that, Smith, where you have to you got to put on the happy face? Well, aside from having to get up and come in here and go, yeah, I'm happy to be here. But
I was going to make that joke.
But you ever have that where, you're just not, either not feeling good, or you're not in the mood, or something happens, and you just, you got to put on the smiley face, and act like nothing's wrong.
Yeah. I think quite often, not to complain about it, but Well, when you're trying to be like a music producer, like a YouTuber and stuff like that, there are lots of things that get you down that you can't really explain to people very easily.
Right.
I mean, so you kind of got to pretend everything's good, you know?
I mean, working in radio all those years, there was, when you would turn the microphone on, you'd say like, oh, you flip the switch. So again, you could be sick as a dog. You could be, well, some people might be hungover. I'm not saying names, saying some, but not feeling good, or, hey, maybe your boss came in and just screamed your head off, and it's like, hey, you got to turn the microphone on and go on, that type of thing. So you just had to flip that switch and be all happy go lucky. So it was kind of weird because I got there Friday, flew my my sons, Matt and Jack, Jack's wife, Brittany, my daughter-in-law, and then my two grandchildren, little Jack is what we call him because he has the same name as his dad. So that's the only way we can kind of separate the two. And then Layla, my granddaughter. So we flew, all six of us flew up to Chicago. So Friday we get there and they haven't been back to visit in Chicago for like 5 years. So it's been a really long time. So it was fun and exciting. It's like, my family hadn't seen them in a long time. They hadn't seen my family. So you're like, hey, it's fun. You're trying to smile and have a great time. And we did enjoy some delicious food in Chicago. Thanks to my sister Maggie making mastacholi. It's my absolute favorite. Love mastacholi when she makes that. But so, you go there and you're like all excited and happy. And then Saturday you have a funeral to go to. So it's like, you just, again, you got to flip the switch. You got to get all, serious and, and somber and all kind of thing. And it was a little bit awkward. I never really had to do this. But I had to speak at the funeral. And man, I tell you, I wasn't real thrilled with my, performance. And I use that word loosely because I was trying to hold it together and I broke down a couple of times. It was just, you just can't help it. The emotions kind of took over and, tears start rolling down your face and you start doing the, when you're trying to speak, all that kind of stuff. So it wasn't what I wanted it to be, but I'm still glad I did it. And we'll miss Dusty very much. And again, say hello to the Rhodes family, Abby, and the kids who are going through a tough time. So our hearts go out to you as well. So as we get all the quote unquote, sad, bad, news out of the way, because it is Feel Good Friday, we got some good news to spread. Now, this guy, I've known Stan Hughes since I moved here. So I mean, I've been friends with him for, I don't know, 25 years, 30 years, something like that. I've been here. I don't know. I can't remember. I've been here so long, but at least 25 years that I've lived in the South. So I've been in, since 98. I moved here in 98. So what is that? 23 years. Yeah. I'm not good at math, so you can figure it out. Since 1998. Right. But I got to know Stan. Stan was working at a car lot and I got to know Stan. And I met a lot of people, working in radio and things like that. But the funny thing about Stan was that, I'm obviously, everybody knows I'm a huge Cubs fan. And Stan is a huge Cardinals fan, who is like the big rival, of the Chicago Cubs. But Stan and I always, give each other a good ribbing and had some fun, with it. And over the years, just, he's a really good dude. And so happy anniversary to Stan and his wife, Ginger, celebrating 27 years of happy marriage. Well, we'll say marriage. I don't know if it's been, well, for Stan, he's probably happy, Ginger probably, I'm kidding. So happy anniversary to Stan and Ginger Hughes, 27 years going strong. So happy anniversary to you guys. By the way, Felipe, when I was talking about the Cubs, that all these names are, going to be leaving, Felipe Tinajero, one of our ninjas here at Billy Merritt Marketing, chimed in and said that Clark will still be a Cub. Now, if you're not familiar with Clark, and if you're not a Cubs fan, you probably are not. They created a mascot a few years ago for the Cubs. So they created Clark the Cub, so he's like a little cub, a little bear suit. But it's just, I just don't like it. I don't like this stupid mascot. There's nothing wrong with certain mascots. I just don't like this one. I'm just not fond of it. He looks like a dork. He wears his baseball cap backwards and he's all trying to be, I don't know. I don't like him. But I will say that Zoe, my great niece, and Mackenzie and Layla, they got their pictures taken with him and they absolutely loved it. So that's what it's about. So I'll thank Clark for the photo. But not really fond of Clark. But anyway, Felipe said that Clark will still be a Cub, kind of a little ribbing there between us. So Clint Bozeman, good morning to you. Feeling good. And my mom, thank you very much. My mom said that I did a good job at Dusty's funeral with my speech. Again, I don't know about that, but I did it. So I just, I completed it. So I guess, I don't know if I got an A, a B. I think I got a pass fail, on that. So I think I passed. Like I said, didn't do what I wanted to do, but something that you had to kind of do, basically. While we were up in Chicago, also, again, all the kinds of food, I mentioned masticholi, had Italian beef, had some pizza. My son, Matt, actually made some pizza, which, I was kind of making fun because I'm like, we're in Chicago. That's one of the things that Chicago is known for is pizza, but it's deep dish. When you go to Chicago, it's deep dish pizza. Well, Matt actually made pizzas for us, but it was actually really good. And he made this, it was called butter chicken. And dude, Smith, I'm telling you, you would have absolutely loved this. I can't explain it. I don't know what was in it, but it was the chicken. It was in kind of a, this doesn't sound very appetizing when I say kind of a brown sauce, but it was kind of like an Indian sauce, except he left out the curry because he knows that my family's pretty, weak when it comes to the spices and stuff like that. So
right.
he left out the curry, but it was kind of a brown sauce with chicken breast in it. So you would have actually loved it, and served over rice. It was really, really good. So thanks to him for making that. And something else that was so unusual. Again, this was probably one of the weirdest weekends. It was fun, but again, it was just such an oddball weekend for me in Chicago. Was that this was the first time, and it may be ever. I'm certain that it was the first time in the last 20 years. So it was the first time in the last 20 years I did not get a Chicago style hot dog while I was there. That's huge, but I think the reason was because I went, back in toward the end of May, just a couple months ago, and I was there for 2 weeks, and I bet I had 15 hot dogs. I know I did because I ate a bunch. I ate a bunch of hot dogs while I was there for 2 weeks a few months ago. So maybe my, I can still make it through, without having the Chicago style hot dog, but some really good stuff. But again, all my family and friends, and got to see a bunch of, wish it was for better circumstances, instead of a funeral, but got a chance to see a lot of people from my high school and past, that I haven't seen in a long time. And some friends there was one girl, Heather, who I had not seen since our 5-year reunion. So it's been 30 some years since I've seen her. So that was just kind of odd, to see certain people. But one of the cool things, and Smith, you were brought up here, small town. Douglas is a little bit bigger, obviously, than where I grew up, but it's still considered a small town. It's
much bigger than it used to be.
Yeah. Well, how many people were in your graduating class?
Oh boy.
Just take a guess. I'm not gonna, look it up. You're wrong.
I would probably wager 120 to 200, okay. Maybe.
See,
I'm kind of loose on that.
It's like mine had like 60.
Oh, okay.
So I had a very small class. I probably had about 200 people in my high school.
Oh, wow.
Where you had it in your class. But isn't one of the good things about, and even though 200 is a lot, compared, it's not a lot compared to, 2,000, but, to get to know 200 people in your class, that'd be pretty difficult, to do.
Yeah.
So even though, and I'll say this, do you think at the time, would you have recognized, could you know the names of all the people in your class?
No, I am terrible with names though.
So, well, I know, with only 60 kids, obviously I knew everybody. Everybody knew me. All that kind of stuff. It was just, you didn't necessarily have to be like close friends, but you knew them. They were your classmates.
I will say that there were still those days where I'd realize there was someone who I'd literally never met. So I guess there's a bit of a difference there.
Well, one of the cool things that I liked about being raised in a small town was that, again, 30 years later, I went to Chicago this past weekend, 30 years later, and saw Heather, who, again, I hadn't seen in 30 years. And it was just like, you just like kind of flashback, you just go back and, you just have those tight memories, I guess, if you will, and relationships with people, being from such a small town. So kind of like everybody knows everybody. So I think that's one of the major advantages, if you will, living in a small town, is you get to know everybody. Of course, there's downsides. People, there weren't as many options of things to do. People like, oh, everybody's in your business, that kind of thing. And everybody wants to know what you're doing. And then you have the when you're a kid, or heck, even now, there's some people, they'll say, I remember you when you were, yay big. And, oh, I knew your mama back in blah, 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 that kind of stuff. So that happens in a small town quite a bit too. But by the way, Clint Bozeman, he said, Smith, you're going to have to help me with that one. You're the chef.
Like a,
or the chef wannabe.
I'm not sure about that one.
Like a chicken fricassee. I'm going to go with that. Fricassee.
Just going to Google it.
I don't know what chicken fricassee is, Clint, but if you'll come to Douglas, Georgia and make it, we'll be more than happy to try it. That's what I'm saying. Maybe that's what we can start doing. We can start asking people to, hey, come to Georgia and make us food. Oh, he said close. I was close. Chicken fricassee, fricassee. I don't know how to say it. Fricassee.
I'm looking at it on Google. It looks like fricassee.
Fricassee.
That makes sense.
That sounds like something I say when I get irritated. Yeah. Fricassee. It just that's a new F word. Fricassee.
Like that's like a Looney Tunes curse word.
That's right. Chicken fricassee. All right, Clint, we'll have to try chicken. All right, I'm going to make Smith try that. Look up the recipe and that's your homework. Look that up. Make that for next week. Chicken fricassee, courtesy of Clint Bozeman. By the way, my sister Barb, she said, dude, she missed Matt's pizza too. The dog, that is not right. And meaning my not eating a hot dog. And she was glad to have me home. And it really was. It was nice to see everybody. And it was a fun trip. And by the way, marijuana is actually legal in Illinois now. Cool. So your flight into Chicago is not a big deal. Like nothing changed. Your flight out of Chicago, quite a bit different now, because they realize that people, can buy it but you can't take it with you, on the plane.
People love smuggling edibles.
Yeah. Well, and I kind of, I don't know. I mean, I've said it for a long time. I don't really care. I mean, I think it should be legal, to be honest. I'm not going to, get up on my soapbox and preach about it. But I think it should be legal. I mean, whatever. I mean, alcohol and other stuff that's legal. Cigarettes aren't good for you. They're legal. Stuff like that. So there's lots of stuff that's not good for you that's legal. And so I don't know. I think it should be legal, everywhere. But states are still kind of doing their own thing. I think Georgia's coming soon. So Smith's over there grinning, like going, please, got his fingers crossed. No, I'm kidding. He's just sitting there looking at me like, what? I didn't do anything. So I just, I have all the power in front of the camera. I can just make up all kinds of crap about Smithsville. But speaking of, by the way, so we're flying back. And so when you go to do security check, before, like to do you go in the thing, you scan your body, look for weapons and, explosives and all that kind of stuff, which I find, I mean, it's okay. I mean, I get it. We want to be safe. We don't want 9/11 to happen again, all that kind of stuff. But there's certain things that I'm kind of, I don't know. I just find it kind of odd. Like you can't take certain things. Like what's with the, like the bigger containers? Like you can only have, I think it's 2 ounces of shampoo. What the hell are you going to do with 5 ounces of shampoo? I mean, I just don't really understand that. Why that's such a restriction. But anyway, so we're going to leave. So we were leaving Chicago, get on the plane. So when they do the check, well, now they have the drug sniffing dogs. And so you actually walk through this area. And so you're walking this way. Okay. And, just walking through. And then the dog actually walks behind you. Kind of just makes 2 little paths, to see if he can get a good whiff or something like that. I don't know. But it was so funny because when people, it was, you could see like the people that were getting nervous. And I think some of them were just like, oh God, I just got high before I walked to the airport.
I'm sure.
Am I going to smell? Oh God, all this kind of stuff. So it was just actually, it added a little bit of, we'll call it excitement.
I don't know how many comedic stories I've heard people tell of how they tried to time perfectly eating edibles before they got on the plane. And then it hits them before they get on. I've heard this so many times.
Well, I do know one thing. I did not buy any I didn't have any of them or anything like that. I didn't take anything. Didn't smoke anything, didn't shoot anything. So, I mean, I was just, I stuck with my basic, beers and stuff like that, but I didn't do any of that. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but I do know it's expensive. Some people, when you can actually go online, you can see prices, like it's expensive. So even though it's legal, you still pay. You pay a pretty penny for it at the dispensary. And that's another word that's become common now. When you used to say, 10 years ago, if you would have said dispensary, people would have been like, what are you talking about? Like a little Pez, like a little candy dispensary, a little Pez head. But now, like everybody knows the word now. Where's the nearest dispensary? It's kind of a big thing. But we did have a really good time. Again, aside from the funeral, we had a lot of fun and, got to visit with family and friends. So it was a really, really good time. By the way, one of the things that I guess, kind of thought about or thought over maybe, thought about it more with the passing of my friend Dusty, it kind of makes you think about how precious time really is. about how valuable it is. Nobody knows what, tomorrow has in store for you, things like that. So it really kind of started to make me think about things that, not only that you can do for yourself, because, without sounding selfish, I did think about, what, I want to visit Chicago more often than I normally do. I want to go see those friends, see my family more often. I want to visit the Grand Canyon. I want some of those touristy things. I want to do some of that stuff because you just don't know what tomorrow has in store. But something else that I thought about was things that you can do for others. And not to say that I'm a completely selfish person. If you know me, that's not the case. Well, except for maybe Smith. I'm not very generous to him. I pick on him a lot. So to help out Smith, I'm going to give to Smith. We're going to talk about, put it up there, buddy. Put the beer of the week up there. And I say beer, meaning like in quotes, because it's not really beer, but I'm breaking the rules today for Smith. So I'm giving him the opportunity. So
tasty.
Today, our quote unquote beer of the week, and again, I'm using that word loosely, is the Angry Orchard hard cider. This is the crisp apple flavor, by the way. Smith is not a beer guy. He's talked about it a lot. Now, is this the one that is this your favorite one of the hard cider of the Angry Orchard, or was it a different one?
I've usually got out of the can. I do believe this is the same flavor though.
The crisp.
They have like the crisp, and then they have the green one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I believe this is the one that I prefer. It's been a long time since I've had them, to be totally honest.
I mean, flavor wise, this is mighty tasty.
Mm-hmm.
Got to say, it's mighty tasty. I mean, it tastes like apple juice.
Yeah.
It really does, with a little bit of a kick. But Angry Orchard, there's actually one. They have I think they have a variety pack where you can get like some different flavors and stuff like that. But I know the one that I actually like is the pear.
Okay.
Yeah, the pear apple cider or whatever. It's got just a little bit of a sweeter taste, maybe a little bit, not super sweet, but just there's a little bit, it's a little bit different. There's an unfiltered, but I knew you weren't very manly, so I didn't want to get the unfiltered one. No, see, there I go. I give and then I take away. It's give and take. That's what Smith and I do on the show here on Feel Good Friday. But you can check out Angry Orchard hard cider, by the way. And again, this is crisp asphalt. Oh, and it's gluten free.
Oh,
so
really?
if you need something alcoholic and it can't have gluten, well, apparently this is your thing.
If you're not convinced it's good, mine is over halfway gone already.
And Smith is going to beat me for sure. Now, I will say, a lot of the ladies like this, that's not a dig. All right. Because I already threw a couple shots at you. So it's not a dig. But a lot of ladies like these. But I will say, be a little careful if you're trying to watch your weight, because one of these babies has 180 calories in it. So
wow.
Yeah, it's got a lot of calories. Huh. So so again, gluten free, but definitely not calorie free. There's a lot of calories in one of these bad boys.
I guess a good description for the strength of it is like there's Smirnoff, and then there's Mike's, and then there's this just a little bit stronger. That's about how I would describe it.
Yeah, well, most of your like regular, what I call domestic, regular beers, Budweiser and Miller Lite and all those ones that you buy, most of those are like between 4 and 5% alcohol. A lot of them like 4.5, 4.6, stuff like that. And this particular Angry Orchard, and again, I'm not familiar with comparing all the other ones. I didn't do my homework because this was all about Smith, so maybe he would know, but he doesn't know anything about this crap. Nope. But I don't know if there's a difference in alcohol percentages and the different flavors. There probably is because it's different recipes. But this one's 5%, so it's 5.0%, so it's even 5 by volume. So there's, again, it's got a kick to it. Definitely got some calories in it, but it does taste delicious. It really is. It's very good. This crisp apple one is actually really good, and I suggest that you try the pear if you haven't had the pear one there, Smith. Try that one on for size. It's got some really good stuff. Angry Orchard, by the way, has several different flavors. And since are you done?
Oh,
holy cow!
No.
He put the bottle kind of over on the deck. I thought, oh my gosh, he just slammed that puppy.
It's just above the word angry.
Just above the word angry. So to put that into perspective, it's like right.
Yeah, that's about where I'm at.
So he's just right about there. If you spin the ball around, he's right where the label begins. Doing that. So actually here I'm making fun of him and I'm actually beating you. So
caught up quick.
Yeah. But there's a new one, or at least new. I hadn't seen it in a long time. So there's a new one called Peach Mango. Have you had that?
I have not. That sounds great.
Yeah.
Though.
So that sounds pretty tasty too. The peach mango one. So you can try some of the Angry Orchards. By the way, those are distributed by Sam Adams. Just thought I'd let you know.
Huh.
Little connection, distributed from by Boston Brewery that distributes Sam Adams, where my brother-in-law, Brian, who works hard, it's got to be a tough job. Yeah. I drink beer. I sell a beer. Maybe I should get that job. No, but actually love my job here, Billy Merritt Marketing, which brings me to my next point. If you're a car dealership and you are looking to sell some more cars, give us a call. We can help you. You can message me. You can message Billy. You can go to, what is it again? I always forget this. I really need to get this down. What's the website? Is it BillyMerritt.com or is it BillyWMerritt.com?
I believe it's BillyMerritt.com.
Okay, look, I believe. See, even he doesn't know, and he's our whole website guy.
It's BillyMerritt.com.
Okay, BillyMerritt.com. Actually, I was kidding. I knew it was BillyMerritt.com, but I was trying to throw Smith a loop. Now that he's been drinking for 20 minutes, so I was trying to see if I could trip him up and say, okay, well here I'll do this. I'll make him do this one. What are all the different platforms that they can find us on?
God, well, I can tell you the main ones.
Oh, look, and now he's like, I can tell you the main ones. I don't know all of them. I did, but I started drinking.
Yes,
so, what are the ones? What are the platforms?
Well, you want to check us out on YouTube, Facebook, obviously, on both Billy's personal page and business page. There's Instagram. He's on Twitter over there on Periscope. We're streaming to that. You can also find us on Deezer, I believe iTunes. Deezer. Yeah. I called it Geezer the other day.
That's what I feel like. We start talking about all these platforms.
It's a little embarrassing.
They should make a Geezer, for like old, stupid people like me. They don't follow all the other platforms. It's like, this one's really easy. It's you can't screw it up. It's easy to follow, all that kind of stuff. Hey, by the way, Clint Bozeman, he said that he'll make some of that chicken fricassee for our office next time he comes in. And when is that, Clint? Because we're going to be counting the days. So when you come into town, because we'll be looking for the chicken fricassee to be delivered to the office. Some of the other things that happened over the last 2 weeks, unfortunately, we lost another rock legend, Dusty Hill of ZZ Top. Passed away. I was really bummed. They were doing their 50th anniversary tour last year. And I actually bought tickets to go see them in Macon last year. And then with COVID, everything got shut down, canceled, postponed, all that kind of stuff. So then they redid the tour. And so they're going to be coming. And my tickets were still good. So I had the tickets, and Dusty Hill passed away just a couple days ago. So don't know if ZZ Top's going to continue, if they're going to do the tour and get a stand-in or what the deal is. I know he was pulled off the tour a few days before he passed away, and they had a fill-in. It was actually Smith. You'll get a kick out of this. It was their guitar tech. Their guitar tech actually got some stage time and got to play. So, I mean, how cool would that be? You're like a guitar tech, for a band. Also, they're like, hey, step on up into the spotlight.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So that'd be kind of a cool treat. I don't know about for the fans, like who's this guy and what did he shave? Did he shave the beard off? Because remember, ZZ had the long, the long beards is what they were known for. Yes, sadly, Dusty Hill, one of the guitar players for ZZ Top, passed away. So, and speaking of, ZZ Top was supposed to be playing at Wild Adventures in Valdosta tomorrow. They're supposed to be there tomorrow night. So again, I don't know if the show's been canceled or what the deal is, on that. Clint Bozeman, he said November. Come on, Clint, can't you come before November? And man, can't Billy fly you up here or something? Man, we got to get Billy in, we got to get him in gear with that plane. Billy should be taking me to Chicago every other week. Where do you want to go, Smith?
Where do I want to go?
Yeah, where can Billy fly you?
Let's see.
Instead of what can Brown do for you, we're going to be like, what can Billy do for you?
Oh, man, I would take Florida just about any day.
Florida. It's one state away. It's right there. I mean, we can be in Florida like in an hour, and you want Billy to fly you to Florida. Wow.
I guess the problem is I've been to Florida and Tennessee. I have such
a dreamer.
I have no idea.
Boy, easy does it, pal. Easy. Yeah. You don't want to shake things up too much.
Here's the real problem. My mind immediately goes to other countries.
Yeah, well, what can Billy do for you? Billy need to buy a bigger plane.
Take me to Japan.
Yeah, I see. Billy needs to get a bigger plane then. He needs to have 3 or 4 planes. He's trying to learn. Plus, he's trying to learn how to fly it. So pretty soon he can actually fly us. Like he can literally do it. he can actually do the flight once he finishes the flight school or whatever you call it, trying to learn how to be a pilot. Going back, and I know it's, we're kind of jumping around. My mom, by the way, made sure that she told me again. She'll tell me this on the phone. When I was in Chicago, she told me again. She's like, "You jump around, you talk so damn fast, and you'll say a topic, and then you move on to the next topic. So before anybody can actually comment, I've moved on, to the next comment." So my mom, sorry, Mom, for talking so fast. No, just kidding. But going back to ZZ Top. The classic rock revisit for this week, since Dusty Hill passed away. And again, I mean, I loved ZZ. I mean, I love ZZ Top. Never got a chance to see him either. Or I shouldn't say I never had a chance. I never took the opportunity to go see them. Cause I mean, I could have seen them, over the years. I just didn't, for either monetary reasons or scheduling or whatever. So I never really went to go see ZZ Top. So I had that planned. I was going to go last year, as I mentioned. And then of course, unfortunately, he passed away. So we'll have to see if ZZ is going to go forward with just the two guys, or if they're going to call it quits and wrap it up, or what. I don't see them quitting. What do you think?
I can't see it.
Yeah, I mean, I think they'll still go on as ZZ Top. They'll still use the name. Billy Gibbons, the other guitar player, Frank Beard is the drummer. I think they're going to continue, doing the show. I don't know who they'll get. I mean, if they'll still be their guitar tech, or if they're going to get probably celebrities, or, a little bit more well-known guys will probably step in, would be what I would assume. What do you think?
I would think so. I mean, and I don't know if there's anyone that they've played with, they're already comfortable with, but if not for that, I'm sure there's someone out there that could grab up. You see a lot of bands now. I've seen a lot of metal bands at least do this, where when they lose a member, they'll do like essentially a YouTube competition.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah, they do that, like, kind of like Journey.
Yeah.
When Steve Perry quit the band, he didn't pass, but when he left the band, that's what they did. They kind of did this contest and said, who can sound the most like Steve Perry? And they got a guy who doesn't look like Steve Perry at all, but he sounds like him. So I've heard they put on a good show. Oh, let me ask you. So you get the phone call. ZZ Top says, "Hey, is this Smith, the world famous Smith?" And they said, how would you like to, play with ZZ Top for the rest of the tour? Are you in?
Hell yeah.
Think you can handle it? Can you pull it off?
I think I can pull that off.
Okay. So Smith can pull off all the ZZ songs. And they
Billy's
have a lot.
got all the hard parts.
They have a lot of them too. Let's talk about today's classic rock revisit. A lot of folks know ZZ's earlier stuff. They were much more bluesy. With their El Loco and Tres Hombres and I mean, they've got so many albums, I can't rattle them all off. But a lot of people knew them as like kind of a blues band from the early stuff. Then in 1983, Eliminator came out, like with MTV and with the music videos, and had that cool ass car, in the videos. So then it was really almost like a different audience, kind of came to find ZZ Top. So some of the original fans weren't really fond, to be honest. Even though Eliminator was a huge album for them, some of their older fans weren't really all that fond of that, because they said, they're trying to go, it was like there's a little more synthesizer and things like that, in the songs. But it was a huge album in '83, Eliminator. Then they came out with Afterburner, which went a little bit more synthesizer on Afterburner, which again, I loved Eliminator. I loved Afterburner. Well, then in 1999, now a lot of, again, the quote unquote hardcore or true fans or whatever really thought that this one, the one I'm going to talk about here in a second, that this one was kind of a misstep. Okay. It was 1990. So they had Eliminator in '83. A couple years later, they had Afterburner. And then a couple years later, they had Recycler, which is the album I'm going to talk about today. So in 1990, Recycler came out, and it was actually kind of an ironic title. Because if you listen to this album, again, I like it. I mean, I like the album, obviously. I mean, that's why I'm recommending it, that you go back and listen to it, or listen to it for the first time if you haven't already. I like the album, but I got to say, it did kind of sound like they recycled some of those songs. I mean, it really was kind of ironic. They were very similar in sound to the songs on Afterburner. But there's still some great songs on here. Give It Up was, I mean, to me, that's just a great tune. It's got a really, really cool rock riff. And even though, they added a lot of synthesizers to it and made it kind of almost a dance, like a dance, tune, or at least, in the 80s or late 90s or late 80s, early 90s dance. So kind of made it like a dance tune. They even released a dance remix of Give It Up, which I actually liked. I thought it was really cool. But so Give It Up was on there. My Head's in Mississippi, in my opinion, the best song on the album. That's just solid. It sounds a lot more like classic ZZ. But it still has a little bit of that synthesizer in it. So to me, it was kind of like the old meets the new. It blended really well. Concrete and Steel, that is on the album. That's a great tune. And then from the Back to the Future movie, Double Back, I think it was Back to the Future 2, if I remember right. Double Back, that song was actually on the movie soundtrack. It played on the closing credits on Back to the Future. I think, like I said, I think it was either 2 or maybe it was 3. There were so many of them, kind of ran all together. But check out for the Classic Rock Revisit, ZZ Top Recycler. It's a really, really good tune. Dolores Luna, she said awesome. So I'm hoping you're saying that this album is awesome, or maybe you're saying that our show is awesome, or maybe you're saying Smith is awesome. I don't know what she's saying. So Dolores, tell us what is awesome. We want to know. And also my sister Barb, Sharp Dressed Man, one of her very favorites. Now I keep in mind again, Sharp Dressed Man is not on this album. Sharp Dressed Man's on Eliminator back from 83. Then the album after that was Afterburner. This is Recycler a few years after that. So still some strong stuff, a lot of, quote unquote synthesized, music or whatever. But one of the things that I always thought was cool about ZZ Top though, was that they did kind of, adapt and change, with the times and with the trends and things like that. So whether they were sellouts, people will say, oh, they're a sellout, blah, blah, blah. Whether they were a sellout or not, I really don't think they were. I think they were just kind of doing what they wanted to do. Because if they were sellouts, they probably wouldn't have had as many albums, number one. And number two, they wouldn't have had to tour near as much. They toured all the time because that's what they said they love to do. That's what most musicians, that's what they say they like. They hate doing all the recording. Recordings work, isn't it, Smith?
It sure is.
Yeah, see, in the studio, it's like, that's work.
Even the setup is work.
Exactly. So nobody likes that part, but it's the actual performance. When you're actually on stage, you get the feedback from the audience. There's just that, that whatever that is, that connection, that there's electricity, kind of in the air, that type of thing. So our hearts go out to Dusty Hill's family, who passed away from ZZ Top. And hopefully, again, I really think that they will be going on. They'll continue the tour. This is their 50th anniversary tour, by the way. So they're not spring chickens. It's not like he was, 26 and passed away. He's up there in years, and so are the rest of the band members. But I'm hoping that they'll at least finish out the 50th anniversary tour. I think they will. And then we'll have to kind of see what happens. Because Billy Gibbons, the other guitar player, he actually, he's had a couple of solo albums just recently, where he was like, I just wanted to, try a couple other things, do some different stuff, things like that. And, Smith, as a musician, do you find yourself, do you want to explore and expand different types of music, or do you nope, this is what I like, this is what I'm good at, I'm going to stay in my lane?
I definitely want to explore more stuff. I think I'm already kind of all over the place. I love learning to do genres that I haven't done before. I really do. So
if you had to name one, just one that pops in, don't think about it too long, just the first one that pops into your head, what would be a genre that you would think you would not be very interested in learning?
I would not be very interested in learning. Soft rock.
Soft rock. So no Journey for Smith, is what you're saying.
Is that considered soft rock?
Yeah, Journey's pretty soft. Yeah. Well, Journey had some harder stuff early, but yeah, they became, come on, Faithfully and those, they were soft. They were the rock ballad.
Yeah, I love those songs though.
So
I like, well, what was that? When You Love a Woman, that one was super soft, and I'm not gonna lie, all right.
Well, then let me ask you this then. Who would you consider to be a band, a known band, please, if you can, so the others can relate? What would be a soft rock band that you would consider a soft rock band? Who's a band that you would consider a soft rock band?
This is difficult.
While you're thinking, by the way, Brady Roberts, who used to be one of our ninjas here at Merritt Marketing, he said they were soft even back then. Listen to some early stuff, Brady. I mean, like really, really early journey. Before Steve Perry actually joined the band, there was some good stuff in there. There was a little bit of harder stuff. I mean, they weren't like hard rock, or anything like that, but they were harder, I'll say, than what they were with Steve Perry. So, have you come up with your answer? You're thinking about it way too much.
I guess I don't know any specific bands, but I know I know that
just answer the question.
I've heard this.
You can't handle the truth.
I guess it's not about the softness or the hardness, because like Journey was soft, but there was obviously, even if they were another 4-chord band like all the 80s bands were,
hey,
there was still most.
Kind of said that condescendingly.
There was
a big word for me too, by the way.
There was still a lot of complexity. I mean, to the guitar parts, there were actually, drum fills and things back then that were interesting. The vocals would have obviously been very hard.
So you can answer the question, what?
I've heard a lot of this modern music. I don't know any of the names of the bands, but where it's like clean guitars and acoustic drums.
So you can't name one soft rock band.
I don't know, because I don't.
But you're not interested in the music. You're not interested in learning that music, no. But you can't name one. So how do you know?
I don't. I guess I don't.
Smith always.
It was the only thing I could think of.
Always has to complicate everything, man. I'm telling you.
I can hardly think of anything else. I love like theatrical music. I love classical music. I love electric music. I like EDM and psytrance and psychedelic and like straight ambient. I like rock. I like metal. I like jazz. I like blues. I like funk. I love future funk. I don't know, man. I like.
So he just rattled off like 12 different genres, and he can't name one soft rock band. The music that he does have, he does not want to learn at all. Has no interest in it. I mean, I get it. If you have no interest, then maybe you wouldn't know. But I mean, come on, some of these mainstream bands you would know.
Sure. To be fair, like
what about Air Supply?
Air Supply.
You even know who they are?
I've heard like 2 of their songs.
Okay. I mean, that is, I mean, I wouldn't even call that rock, but I mean, they did call it soft rock. Air Supply was soft rock back then. So, but yeah, there's no way that they were rock. They were pop. They were like soft pop.
I don't hate it, but I can't deny it. I can't deny that it's catchy.
Oh yeah. I mean, I've said that they're like a guilty pleasure.
Mm-hmm.
There's plenty of those guilty pleasure bands out there. And in fact, maybe we should start that, as a segment, a guilty pleasure.
I think the music that I tend to end up disliking the most, and this is funny because I like Adele and I like Ellie Goulding, but they both occasionally have these songs where it's like, I can't remember which one of them done this, but anything can happen, anything can happen, anything can happen. Where it's just like
sounds pretty
bars.
Repetitive.
Yes. If you do 16 bars of the same thing, I will hate your music.
By the way, maybe Brady Roberts can, maybe you can use a lifeline. Brady Roberts, can you help him throw out a soft rock band?
What is this segment we're doing?
Throw out a soft rock band, because Smith, who's supposed to be this great musician and loves all kinds of music, whatever, and he can't name one soft rock. Anybody name one soft rock band in your opinion? Brady, I'm looking for you, to be the first one to chime in. But I'm like, my sister Barb loved soft rock. I mean, Elton John, that would be considered soft rock back in the day. He was. I mean, he, even though I consider him more pop, but yeah, I mean, he was soft rock. James Taylor. Thank you, Brady Roberts. There it is. Steely Dan. He's throwing them out now. So James Taylor, Steely Dan. Oh, Clint threw out Bryan Adams. See, I mean, there's a lot of those. So thank you guys for throwing those out. Elton John, yes, Brady agrees with me on that.
Okay, maybe I do like soft rock.
Plenty. Yeah, I think you do. I think you do. You just weren't able to come up with some of the band names.
I threw out the most cliche thing I could think of. That's exactly what I've done.
Rock. So what would be your first pick, if you will, of a genre that you would like to learn?
That I would like to learn.
Yeah.
I'd actually.
It's gonna be something weird. I know. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's gonna be weird.
Lay it on me.
Psytrance. And that's like
of course
psychedelic trance dance music, basically.
Yeah,
that's the best way I could describe it.
Psytrance.
Now, here's a funny thing though, because legit, I say this all the time. I listen to playlists. I cannot remember any of the names of these psytrance bands. I have no idea. I listen to it all the time.
So if you,
I have no idea what any of the bands are.
So if you like that, are you a psytranny?
Sure, why not?
Not that there's anything wrong with that. We're just throwing it out there. So okay. By the way, thanks again. By the way, to Brady, who threw out several, and Clint, who threw out some of those too. There's plenty of concerts that are coming our way soon. So hopefully we'll be able to attend. You got any? Are you going to see anybody this summer? Well, I mean, summer's halfway over, but are anybody this year? Put it that. Are you planning on going to see anybody live this year?
Honestly, I'm not planning on it.
Why not? You said you love music. You love the whole experience of music. So you don't like concerts?
No, I do. I just don't. I don't think I'd want to spend the time and money on it right now. Coming from the guy who like challenged me 2 weeks ago to finish a freaking song, which I did.
Yeah,
finish,
did you do that?
I did finish the song.
Oh, you did?
I did.
Okay, alrighty then.
It's a totally different song than what I was talking about back then.
By the way, Brady Roberts just threw out, he said, which reminds me, I need to plan on going to that Seether concert ordeal with me in October. Yes, Three Doors Down. Do you like Three Doors Down?
I do.
Yeah, I mean, Three Doors Down is actually the headliner, and then Seether is actually the opener. So it's going to be a doubly good show. That's what I like to call them. It's really like two bands that I want to see play live. Now, I've seen Three Doors Down twice, and no, 3 times. I forgot. I saw them at Rockville twice, and then I saw them just on their own show once. So I've seen them 3 times, but they're really good. I mean, they're really good live. They sound fantastic. They know how to work the crowd. I mean, they just they really get the crowd involved. They're very kind of like they're like patriotic. You know what I mean? Like they have a lot of that with the military. That kind of connection. They have several songs that they released that were really very powerful and meaningful, if you will, to those that were in the military. People have family that's in the military, maybe somebody who was passed on that was in the military. So they always put on a really good show, but I've never seen Seether. So Seether is actually the opening band. So that's coming up in October down in Jacksonville. Already got my tickets. Already going to that show. And of course, I'm going to see ZZ Top. What, version of it, it's going to be there. I mean, I already got those tickets too. So we'll have to kind of wait and see. So is there any, even though you said you're not planning on it, is there anybody that's touring this year that you would like to go see?
I'm pretty sure Upon a Burning Body is touring. I would always go for that.
All right. And then last question for you, Smith. By the way, my mom just threw out, yes, I talk so quickly, so she throws out the dish that Matt made was called butter chicken. I believe I said butter chicken.
You did. I've heard of butter chicken. I've just never had it.
But my mom, she's a little slow in the draw. She's a little older than me, obviously. She's my mom, so she's a little older than me. There's no way she could be younger than me. So, but thanks, Mom. Thanks for throwing that out there. I didn't put it in the comments, so therefore people can, they can go back and see. It's called butter chicken. Maybe I can get my son Matt to give the recipe out or something like that. All right. So last question about music and concerts. Is there one guitarist that you would say it was very, it doesn't have to be the most influential, but one guitarist you can name off the top of your head? Don't take 7 hours thinking about it. Just think about it. What is one guitarist that was very influential for you?
I always say this, Steve Vai.
Steve Vai.
Just the fact that he can shred so melodically, like he can shred and it's beautiful. Not just like melting your face,
right.
Oh,
there's that. Yeah, there's actually melodies and things like that you can hear. I've never seen Steve Vai. I wanted to go see him. He toured. He was down in Jacksonville a couple years ago, and I couldn't make it. I had some other conflicts. I couldn't go that day. But I would love to. So I'll throw this out there. It'll be on film. It'll be out in the internet and all that other kind of stuff. God. It might even be on Geezer if you look for it. But if Steve Vai comes to Jacksonville, I'll buy the tickets and we'll go to the show.
Yeah, right? I can do that.
So I mean, if Steve Vai comes to Jacksonville, I will buy the tickets and I'll take Smith to the show. So we'll do that. So,
absolutely.
And I'll even throw the same offer if Joe Satriani, who I absolutely love, if he comes back. I've seen him a bunch of times, and I would see him every weekend if I could. He's so great. If he comes back, I'll buy the tickets and I'll take you to the show. So a couple of rock gods, if you will,
no doubt,
to those concerts. So be on the lookout for Steve Vai or Joe Satriani in Jacksonville. If you find them, then I'll get the tickets. And by the way, it can't be some kind of private BS show. You'd be like, yeah, I contacted Steve Vai's people and he'll play at my house for, $80,000. So you said, Paul, no, not like that, like a regular concert, a regular show, and not one of those special, invitation, whatever at your house or something like that. So, but anyway, we are quickly running out of time, and yep, you see it. The bottle is sideways, which means I have run out of Angry Orchard. So, did I beat you?
Yeah.
Okay. I beat you, and I was talking way more than you, which is normal. So check out ZZ Top's Recycler, the 1990 album. Go check that out. Check out Angry Orchard. This is the crisp apple. Again, there's a couple of different flavors that are out there. You can try those on for size. And again, happy anniversary to Stan and Ginger Hughes, 27 years going strong. And Ginger, God love you, putting up with Stan for that long. But they're really good people. They got a great family too. So happy anniversary to them. Any shout outs that you want to throw out there?
Yes, actually, she's probably working right now, so she's probably not watching, but happy birthday, Mom.
Oh, it's your mom's birthday.
Sure is.
Well, why didn't you chime in earlier? Happy birthday, Mom. Well, happy birthday, Smith Mom.
Thank you.
My mom's birthday is coming up in September, so I'll have to throw that out a little bit later. Cool. And yes, and I actually will be returning to Chicago in August, so I'll have yet another trip with the drug sniffing dogs. Will I be caught? No, I'm kidding. I don't even do it. I'm just joking around. So in the meantime, have a great weekend and a safe weekend. Remember, if you're going to be drinking this weekend or anytime, make sure that you are not driving. Always use a designated driver and drink responsibly. Have a good time. Take full advantage of your time, because you don't know if tomorrow is promised or not. And who knows, maybe the Cubs will actually get somebody on their team that's actually worth a darn, and maybe they can come back and win a few games. Fingers crossed. But in the meantime, there's probably going to be Chris Bryant. This is probably going to be his last day as a Chicago Cub today. Anthony Rizzo, his last day was yesterday. So, the fire sale goes on, but hey, we go on as well. So we'll see you next week. Take care of yourself, and cheers. See you.